Hello there, a warm welcome to Tech Trends with me, Olayemi Odunuga. Here's what we have lined up for you this week. Home services app EdenLife helps users automate their home chores. And then I will be engaging Tony Emokpere, the president of the Association of Telecommunications Companies of Nigeria, ATCON, to discuss some of the issues affecting telecom operators. We'll give you more in just a moment, but remember, this is the program that takes you on a ride in 25 minutes to seek out innovation and creativity that are unique to Africa.
The promise of artificial intelligence and computer science generally vastly outweighs the impact it could have on some jobs, in the same way that while the invention of the airplane affected the railroad industry, it opened a much wider door to human progress.
In a bid to create a better life and community where things run smoothly, a Nigerian tech startup, EdenLife, is driving innovation by digitizing home services. Through its mobile application, the startup is connecting users with professional home managers called gardeners, helping them outsource and automate their home chores.
Meet the team at EdenLife, a tech-enabled startup navigating challenges and shaping the future of home care.
Hi guys. Hi. So you want to
Founded in 2019, the innovative home services platform has taken strides to automate household chores for busy individuals, particularly targeting millennials and Gen Z professionals.
We are trying to help people live better and help people put their chores, their home chores, on autopilot. So your feeding, your laundry, your cleaning will help you take care of all of that, so you don't have to worry and you can use that time for something else. Our mission is to become the operating system of life.
EdenLife is basically, I like to think of it as an Alexa that can physically do stuff, right? So EdenLife automates everything about home chores, food, cleaning, laundry, just so you never have to think about it.
The platform, developed by 3X and Delans, provides a unique solution to challenges of modern living, based on their personal experiences of struggling to manage domestic tasks while juggling their careers.
It was a big problem trying to get food, do my laundry, cleaning. So we just came together and say, what if we had a service that could automate that could do all of that for us, and we just pay a certain amount of money every month. And that's how Eden was born.
Through its mobile application, Eden simplifies life by automating essential chores such as food delivery, laundry, and cleaning, leveraging a network of well-vetted professionals known as gardeners. On the app, users can schedule services with ease, freeing up valuable time and energy.
On the surface, like outside, it's very simple. You have an interface, on the web or mobile app, you sign up, you select a new plan, and that's it. Or you select like a laundry plan. But internally, the operations are very complex because we have a combination of software engineers, chefs, operations folks that make sure everything runs together to make it a success. So when somebody orders, what happens is at the back end, which is internally, we get the order. We have an internal operating system. When we get the order, the food production team tries to procure enough materials to ensure that we can make enough orders to go out the next day or even the same day. And then from cooking in the facility, we plate, we pack, and then we send it to operations, and then operations send it out via a delivery person. So that's basically me simplifying the whole process of what happens internally at Eden.
So basically, customers get on our app, they subscribe for services, or they can order anytime services, and then we receive it on the back end, and we have different teams that can get on it and just make it happen. We basically have like a large engine of diverse teams, ensuring that customers receive the best quality of service at every point.
EdenLife has strategically positioned itself as a go-to platform for busy urbanites, especially those in the tech industry. However, beyond the initial buzz, the tech startup faces its own headwinds.
Maybe funding, because having the funds to ensure that the business keeps running, sometimes we get to a point where we are almost out of funds. And then we're like, oh, what's going to happen next? Are we going to shut down? Where do we get funds from? How do we pay staff and all of that? And then, miraculously, we get more funds from other investors to help us just keep running the business. Running a business in Nigeria alone is very challenging. So number one, customer acquisition, right? Trying to convince people to pay a certain amount of money for us to just take care of their feeding is not like an idea that a lot of people subscribe to. So that's a challenge. Trying to get people to keep, paying that money every time is another challenge. And that challenge also is just the cost of, of services, basically the cost of infrastructure. So our prices are dependent on, the cost of things basically in the economy. So as things increase in price, our prices to have to increase. And then that is very hard to explain to customers. Another challenge too is also in getting quality talent to be able to do what we do here, because like operations can be really intensive at Eden. So you need people that are ready to walk the walk, and talk the talk.
Embodying a vision of a simplified and efficient lifestyle, the tech startup continues to redefine home care services, providing a glimpse into the future of automated living.
Tech tips. How to shift your WhatsApp chats, images and videos from old to new number without losing data. WhatsApp makes it easy to transfer your chat history, images and videos to a new number without losing data. Here's a simple step-by-step guide to change your WhatsApp number and inform your contacts, or create a local backup if changing both phone and SIM card. To change phone number on WhatsApp, Step 1. Open WhatsApp on your old phone. Step 2. Navigate to Settings. On Android devices, tap the 3 vertical dots on the top right corner. For iPhone users, Settings is located at the bottom right corner. Step 3. Tap Account and then Change Number. Step 4. Review the information on the screen. It essentially confirms that changing your number will migrate your account details, charts, and settings. Tap Next and enter both your old and new phone numbers. Double check for accuracy. Choose how you want to notify your contacts. WhatsApp offers 3 options. All contacts, everyone in your address book will be informed. Contacts you have chats with. This means only those you've exchanged messages with will be notified. Or Custom, you can manually select specific contacts you want to be informed. Tap Done to initiate the transfer process. Before starting the process, do note that this inbuilt feature works best if you keep the same phone. If you're switching phones entirely, you will need to create a local backup on your old phone, and here's how to do that. Open WhatsApp and navigate to Settings. Tap on Chats and then select Chat Backup. Choose the frequency of backups. You can opt for daily, weekly, or manual backups. Decide whether to include videos in the backup. Tap Backup to start the process. Your chats will be saved to your phone's storage. To the basics. Did you know people blink less when they use computers? Humans normally blink about 20 times in 1 minute. However, studies show people on computers and other digital screen devices only blink about 5 to 7 times in a minute. Blinking is the eye's way of getting the moisture it needs on its surface to prevent dryness and irritation. When individuals are engrossed in computer tasks such as reading, typing, or gaming, they tend to blink less frequently than usual. This reduced blinking can lead to dryness and discomfort in the eyes due to inadequate moisture distribution, ultimately contributing to eye strain and fatigue. The decrease in blinking is believed to be related to the prolonged fixation on the screen and the reduced need for eye movements, which are necessary for stimulating regular blinking. To alleviate the effects of reduced blinking during computer use, experts recommend practicing the 20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look away from the screen at something 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. This technique helps relax the eye muscles and encourages natural blinking, preventing discomfort and potential long-term eye issues associated with excessive screen time. What is the programming language developed by James Gosling at Sun Microsystems and named after the type of coffee from Indonesia? Green, C/C++, Java, Python. The answer is Java. What startup acquired by Facebook for $1 billion in 2012 became the fourth most downloaded app in the 2010s and is known for the posting of pictures? Twitter, MySpace, 2Go, Instagram. Of course you know it's Instagram. In 1999, Shigetaka Kurita invented what keyboard additions for cell phones that would eventually replace emoticons and even get their own movie. Icons, emojis, images, Winky. The answer is emojis. Dolly the Ew's birth in 1996 and subsequent life helped prove the viability of what scientific and technological process? Cloning, reproduction, prototype, origination. The answer is cloning.
The Nigerian telecom industry is expected to grow from about $9 billion in 2024 to about $11 billion by 2029. Now, these figures reflect a steady expansion within the sector, likely driven by factors such as increased mobile penetration, rising data usage, and ongoing technological advancement in the country's telecommunications infrastructure. Despite this projection, telecom operators in the country are facing significant challenges like infrastructure limitations, regulatory complexities, and increasing competition. Now, I will be joined by Tony Emokpere, President of the Association of Telecommunications Companies of Nigeria, ATCON, to discuss some of the issues affecting telecom operators and proposed solutions needed to address them. How has the persistent issue of fiber optic cable cuts affected the operational cost and service reliability of telecom companies?
Okay, the fiber optic cables is what provides connectivity to all the base stations and all the transmission equipment that the companies rely on. And each time there is a cut, it affects the ability for calls to be made and traffic to pass through. Of course, the networks have redundancies in their networks, but the consistent cuts really impacts on their ability to provide these services. And then, of course, these costs also have a remedial cost to them. And sometimes these are done haphazardly and to the extent that sometimes you have to replace the whole entire stretch of cables because the cable can only survive for so many cuts per kilometer. So this adversely affects the cost of the operators. Most of these costs are not actually budgeted for, and we are seeing an increase in the number of cuts that they experience along the routes.
Now, there are reports that the government is planning to, criminalize fiber cable destruction, trying to impose penalties on offenders. How will that help?
Well, will help in deterring for sure. Don't forget, it's a big disruption to communication and even to business and ease of doing business in the country. We see the impact of the submarine cable time passed, and you can see the effects. You can imagine that's happening across the country in a micro level. So the criminalization of this kind of acts will be a big deterrent and save the operators a huge amount of funds that they deploy into fixing these kind of issues.
As the president of ATCON, are there specific regulatory measures you're advocating for to address these challenges of cable vandalism and to ensure the protection of telecom infrastructure?
Yes, one of the things we have been advocating for is for actually telecom infrastructure to be designated as a critical national infrastructure. That way, these kind of acts can be deterred and also prosecuted at a certain point. Right now, the operators or those who provide this kind of infrastructure have no recourse or little or no recourse to remedial effects. But once it's designated a critical national infrastructure, it will become known that this issue is not just affecting the operators, but actually affects the country as well. We all rely on communication. Even right now, as I'm talking to you, this call is basically communication related. Without this fiber optic cables we're talking about, for example, I have a fiber to the home connectivity. If there are instant cuts, I can't even be on this program. And there are many more other things that are relying on this. So the critical national infrastructure status for all telecom assets is what we're clamoring for. And I think we've been hearing that it's almost in the works, but we still need to see action in that regard.
Now, ALTEN, that is the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators of Nigeria, is also pushing for tariff increases, saying that the current price control mechanism is out of sync with economic realities. Now, how do increased taxes, levies, and the multiple taxes impact the financial viability of telecom operators?
Okay, we are all advocating for the same thing. ATCON is also advocating for the same thing in terms of tariff increase. And the issue is this: when you look at the cost of running telecom operations vis-a-vis the revenue that most of the operators are getting, is a total mismatch. Right now, a lot of them are running at near near loss. Some are actually losing. We are seeing instances where operators are cutting down on their budgets for the year. Rollout of infrastructure is being impacted due to low revenues from subscribers and things like that. We understand the challenge of inflation that is across all board, but for the telecom industry, it's been biting. For example, it's been 11 years since there's been a form of tariff increase in the sector. So it's critical that we look at this issue and guard the industry from further demise.
So let's assume that there is a dialogue between the government and stakeholders in the industry on this proposed tariff adjustment. How will that help ensure a balance between what consumers can afford and what is there to sustain operators financially?
That's exactly what the dialogue will produce, in the sense that all the factors will be considered, and then a new tariff will come out of that exercise. If you notice, you can hardly find anybody saying specifics as regards to what the tariff hike should be per se, because there are a lot of considerations and a lot of factors that go into determining the tariffs. There are already guidelines by the regulators already for tariff increase and things like that. So it's just for the regulators and the government to engage with the sector, like you mentioned, and a new tariff comes out. And then I think above that, what needs to be done is to be kind of a tariff structure whereby as factors change, then there's almost a dynamic adjustment of tariffs. There is no country just leaves the tariff stagnant. It's supposed to be open to market forces. And then, of course, there's also healthy competition. So it's not necessarily that it's going to be one tariff for everybody. I mean, those who want to compete might be able to offer services or different kind of services at different rates. But the base floor has to be determined, and the base floor has to be increased so that there'll be a good playing field for all operators to work on.
Mr. Mokwer, considering the projected growth of Nigeria's telecom markets, which is from about $9 billion this year, 2024, to about $11.4 billion by 2029, what strategies is your association recommending to mitigate the risks associated with infrastructure, vandalism, and also to ensure the sustainable development of the industry?
Well, one of the things we're advocating for first, of course, is this critical national infrastructure status for the assets. That's number one. Number two, I know we've been having different engagements with the regulators to get some form of standardization across the industry, so that once these infrastructures are deployed, they're deployed to a particular standard and those standards are maintained. I know the regulator is more interested in what they call quality of experience. It's not just you have a good service, but what's the experience what experience of the user have while utilizing these services. So standardization will help, and we're working to that regard. Also, things like localization of a lot of the services will help in that regard as well. I mean, we should. There's a lot of things that should be localized. Even Zoom, for example, we have providers who provide this kind of service for online conferencing and things like that. Utilizing more local services for even government agencies and things of that nature would help stimulate the market and ensure that there's a continued growth. But above all, if these tariffs are not adjusted in any way, shape, or form, this planned growth and increase will be seriously impacted.
And would a local content legislation, for the telecom sector help address some of these issues?
Definitely it will. I know that we already have a local content policy, by the way, that the nation has by definition. I think it's to apply to the sector that's supposed to be important as well. We have a lot of homegrown engineers who are doing extremely well, not just here, but also abroad. I can tell you, for example, that I give an example like 3G was launched in Nigeria before some of the advanced countries, and a lot of our engineers locally trained are actually doing extremely well abroad in Canada and the US, or who are actually just worked here in Nigeria. So we need to try and localize a lot of these services here so that we can ensure that the industry becomes more vibrant. Local companies should be encouraged to participate actively. There should be issues whereby some scope of work should be strictly localized. There's no reason why, for example, a foreign company should be involved in design. If you give it, this is strictly an intellectual venture, and there are local engineers. In fact, the Nigerians that do this abroad as well. So there are many measures we're trying to put in place and things we're advocating for to ensure that the local market is further stimulated, and then the local services should be utilized by government. We should not be using foreign provided services. And the good thing about Nigeria and the luck we have already is that we have a lot locally, and it's just for us to tap into it.
Certainly right. Tony Mbakwere, president of the Association of Telecommunications Companies of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Well, here's where we draw the curtain on the program this week. Thank you for watching. But as always, Tech Trends is here to share insights, trends, and developments happening in the tech space. Also, if you missed any part of the program, you can always catch up on the Channels TV YouTube accounts where we have all of our episodes. And I encourage you to watch, share, and like your favorite editions. For Tech Trends, I'm Olayemi Odunuga. I'll see you next time.